All right, well, hello, welcome to our webinar. Um, let me, hope everybody's having a good start to your week. We are going to jump in, walk through some features of our platform. We'll do some quick intros first. My name is Bailey. I am an elementary curriculum developer. I'm based in Chicago. Jennifer, I'll let you introduce yourself. Daryl, if you're staying on, feel free.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Mahan. I'm also an elementary curriculum developer. I'm based in Cortland, Kansas.
I am gonna step out, but glad you could join for the webinar. I'm Daryl. I'm our elementary curriculum lead, and take it away, Bailey.
Thanks, Daryl. All right, so we're gonna go through a couple of things. Before I jump into our platform, I just want to point out that you have access to our chat and then a Q&A at the bottom of your screen. So if you have any questions or any problems accessing any of the things we talk about, just feel free to throw them in there. We'll answer them as quickly as we can, or at the very end, we'll have time for a little bit of Q&A. So if you feel like it, you can throw in if you've started being able to use CodeHS in your classroom, if you have any questions so far. As you think about that, I will jump in. All right, so what does CodeHS provide? CodeHS provides over 400 ready-to-go lessons. We are built for interdisciplinary instruction and dedicated CS instruction time. We have a vertically aligned computer science pathway, customizable PD, and implementation support. We're going to have you actually log in as a teacher if you aren't already. So if you go to codehs.com/login, this will take you to your profile. You will have gotten an email at some point when you signed up for a free trial. And if your login is a Gmail account, you might be able to log in with Google. So give you a minute, maybe a little less, to make sure that you're able to log in, and then we'll keep going. All right, so I am going to switch over to what it will look like when you first access the site. So this is our all lessons page. I'll take you through this really quickly, then we'll make a section. This will show you all of the lessons that we have in our library. Over on the left is a toolbar that lets you search by a couple of different things. You can search by a keyword if you're looking for a specific lesson. You can search by a standard if you would like. You can search by subject, so computer science, digital lit, if you want to search by any core subject areas. You can search by a tool. Most of our lessons have Scratch and Scratch Junior embedded, but we also have a lot of robotics and physical computing lessons. So if you are looking for any of those, you can search by tool, you can search by grade, and then search by concept. So if you're looking for a specific computer science concept, maybe I want one to focus on events with my students, this will pull up all lessons that focus on events. The next thing that we're going to do is walk through sections. So if you go over to the left side of your toolbar, you'll find the sections tab. Here you can see all of the sections that you've already created. If you haven't created any or you need to make a new one, you can click this blue Create New Section button. Clicking this will prompt you to name the section. So I'll just name mine Demo 2. If you want to, you can also import it from Google Classroom. Then you want to select a course to connect to the lesson. So if you aren't sure about which course to use yet, you can always scroll to the bottom and there's an option to choose later. Just for example, I'm going to select 4th grade. So this will create a section for me. Once the section is created, you will use the section page that allows you to do a few different things. Up here, you can invite a co-teacher. So if you have somebody else that'll be supporting instruction with you, that's where you'll do that. I don't have any students yet because I didn't import from Google Classroom. To add students, I'll click here. You can add your students manually by first and last name. You can add them multiple at a time, or you can upload a CSV file if you want to too. I'm going to show you. Here's my section already populated with students just to speed things up a little bit. So down here is some information about your students. You will see a couple of different things here. So sorry, lost my train of thought. So here's how you can control how you want your students to log in. So there's a couple different options. You can click this and send a login URL to them. You can share a QR code. You also have some more options down here for how they'll log in when they get there. So you can have them do a QR code, like I said. They can click just their name. They can choose their name and then have the option to select a picture password, or they can do Google single sign-on, which makes things a lot easier if you have that option. Down here is where you can choose which playground you want your students to have access to. So our 3 through 5 lessons are in Scratch, and our K through 2 lessons are in Scratch Junior. So maybe depending on what grade your section is, you might want to limit them to one or both of those options. The next thing that we're going to walk through, let me go back to my slides, is look through some of our courses. So how do you know what to choose? Our elementary course pathway offerings, we have computer science and we have an interdisciplinary. So the CS pathway is for every grade level. It walks students through a progression of different computer science skills. It's a lot of lessons. It's not necessarily required that you work through your way through all of these in a year, but you also can depending on what your schedule looks like. These are some visual roadmaps that we have built for each grade level. You can access these in the left side of your toolbar under resources. So right here, these roadmaps are there. And these are clickable, which means as you're looking at the roadmap, if you want to see a lesson, you can just click right on it and it'll take you to the lesson page. And then we have our interdisciplinary. So these are computer science concepts that are built into lessons with a core subject focus, which is nice if you want to kill two birds with one stone. So that is a really helpful resource in order to choose which course that you want to teach. All right, we already created a section. So now once you have your section built, once you have your course selected, we're going to take a look at your lessons within a section. So if you go back to your section page, open up one of your sections, it will take you to your roster tab. You're going to click here. So this is the lessons that are within your section based on the course that you assigned. I'm going to go back over to my 4th grade one. So at first glance, looking at a lesson right here, all of these colored boxes, you can get some quick info about each lesson. These are what we call filter tags. So I can see this first lesson for my 4th grade section is computer science. It uses Scratch. It has resources translated to Spanish. It can be used for 3rd through 6th grade, and it's a ready to go lesson. So this will tell you a little bit. Some of them might tell you like, oops, sorry. Like this one might tell you that it has a subject embedded into it, like math. Some of them might tell you that they have a specific skill that you're working on, like this one is loops and project design. You'll also notice here some of my lessons are grayed out. This means that these lessons are not made available to students on their screens. When you create a section, the first lesson will show up as visible. If you want to change any of that, you just click these icons in the top right corner of each lesson. So if I want to hide this one from my students, I'll just click that and it'll gray out. Or if I want to re-show it to them, all I do is click it again and it'll have a checkbox up here. If you are going through all of the lessons on your course that you assigned the section, so let's say maybe I found a lesson somewhere else and I really want to teach it to this section, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and click add content from another course or add lesson. And this will pop up a window that lets you just search for a lesson or scroll through a bunch of options. So let's say maybe I want this changing landforms lesson for K through 2, but it's not in my 4th grade course. I will add that to my section and then it will pop up at the bottom of the list. So that way you can kind of add more customization to add in. All right, I feel like I'm a little bit fast, so I'm going to stop for like 10 seconds if anybody has any questions. Beautiful. All right, so the next thing that I am going to do is look at an actual lesson. So I'm going to open up this 4th grade lesson called Loops Catch the Ball. This is a ready to go lesson. So our ready to go lesson formatting, one of our most popular features. If you haven't been able to look through a specific lesson yet, this will be a really great way to see how it's helpful for you to prepare. So this is a lesson on loops. This is a lesson within Scratch. So what this is our ready to go deck at the top of the lesson page. This will walk you through student facing videos. So these are fully ready. They will take students through steps. They will introduce them to different concepts or review different concepts. It will guide them through discussion questions. So this one is asking students to look at a sample program and decide what they think is inside of a forever loop. And then these also walk students through guided practice. So it takes them through specific coding steps with a stagnant slide on after each step so that you can leave it up for instructions. I am gonna show you one of our features. So as you are coding, you will have the option to create and demonstrate the program within the window for your students. These do not save within the window once you close it. So you do have to be careful if you're doing a lesson that is multiple days. You can just open that in your own playground, which I'll show you in a second. Down here, as you are coding, you have the option to click push to students. So any students that are logged in on CodeHS will actually be pushed to your same screen, but their version of the program. I will show you really quick what that looks like. So here's student login page. I'm going to log in as Scout. This is what the student view looks like. So these are all the lessons that I, as the teacher, have made available to Scout. If I am going to push this to my students, it will, where am I assigning this? Let me make sure I'm assigning this to my right students. That might be the issue. There we go. All right, let's try again. All right, let me push my assignment to my students, and there we go. Scout will be pushed into the program, even if Scout is working on something random that he shouldn't be, or in a project that Scout shouldn't be in. So that's a really nice classroom management feature. You can use that for your guided practice coding steps. And then if a lesson has an interactive activity, so this is like a quick little formative assessment or concept review that helps students just check for understanding, makes you feel good going into guided practice. You can also push these to students. So same thing, no matter what Scout is doing, this will push Scout to the interactive activity so that everybody is on the same page. At the bottom of our lesson pages, you have some helpful lesson plan outlines. You'll see standards that are aligned to the lesson, and starter code and sample program. So these are some sample views on what the program will look like at the very end. So these are helpful for you as you're checking student work. We also have a lot of teachers that have their students view these at the beginning of the lesson to help them kind of understand where they're going. The next thing that I'm going to show you, like I mentioned, is the teacher playground. So again, back to your left-hand toolbar on your elementary page, your playground is where you can complete projects that you've assigned. If you press the plus button, you can also create your own open-ended projects. So you can start a Scratch project, you can start a Scratch Junior project. In your teacher playground, each of your sections that you have is represented as a folder. So clicking in there will go and show all of the lessons that you have assigned in that section. Right, we're doing good on questions. The next thing that I am going to walk through is viewing student work. So as you are maybe grading or assessing or just wanting to check in on your students, there are a couple different ways that you can access the project that your students are working on. So option number one is through the roster tab in your section. So I'm back in my demo section. If you want to view a certain student's work, you can click the home button next to their page. So I will click Carol's home button. And this will take you to the student's page. These icons in the corner of their program tell you if they have opened or not opened it yet. So the little gift box with the bow says that they haven't opened that program yet, and the open box means that they've opened it. So here you're able to look at all of the programs that are in their playground. This dropdown will let you really quickly switch between students that you don't have to go back to the roster page. The other option for looking at student work is your last tab on your sections page, which is your progress tab. So this lets you see a couple different things. Up at the top, it will show you all of the lessons that are in that course. And then on your vertical row, it will show you all of your students. So the green means that that student has opened it, and the grayed out means that they haven't opened that yet. If you want to say open all of the student work for one lesson, you can click that lesson at the top and it will tell you all of the students' projects. It will tell you if they've opened them or not. Or again, if you want to just view one student's work for everything that they're working on in your section, you can do that. And this will take you back to the same page that we were looking at a little bit earlier. All right, I am going to jump forward because we already went through some of these topics. All right, so the last thing before we leave it open for some questions is to talk about where else you can find some resources and get support if you need it. So again, I pointed this out where you can find your roadmaps and your pathways. Our resources tab is a super nice resource for teachers. You can watch videos here, you can read articles, you can get ideas about lesson planning. There's a ton more. You can also print resources for your students. So we have reference sheets, things that you can print out for a vocabulary wall. We have some self-assessment rubrics and peer review activities that will be really helpful. Lots of things that you can use to a ton of different lessons. And then if you are ever just in need of any extra support, I'll show you this one. Your support tab on the left toolbar will give you some options for how to find out the answers. Really easy way on most of your pages that you're on is to click the little speech bubble in the corner, which will let you connect live with somebody. Our support team is wonderful. They will get back to you very quickly and be very helpful. You can also take a look at the knowledge base, which just gives you some common advice and tutorials about some things that you might run into or to help you come up with some ideas. All right, so that is everything that we have for